from local places in New York, but you've embarked on quite an ambitious journey over the past several years, the World Stage series. And I know you've traveled to many different countries and set up studios there. How did this idea to go from the streets of New York to really go global germinate? And also, were the countries that you traveled to predetermined? Did you? What was the process and inspiration behind this incredible and very lauded series of works that are now on view in many places?
The World Stage is a painting project that takes me all over the world, but it started as me being a working artist who was exhibiting all over the world.
That's interesting.
And so I would go to places like Paris and Berlin and Sao Paulo and recognize very early on that Black American culture vis-a-vis hip-hop had been beamed throughout the rest of the world as probably one of our most dominant cultural exports, and changed the lives of young people all over the globe. The World Stage began as a very simple provocation, but it opened up all of these doors. You know, I began to think about America's relationship to the outside world. Why choose one country over another? And it was very simply, how are we as Americans increasingly becoming aware of the outside world? And so it was not simply our impact on others, but how others are impacting us. And so it began with places like China, places like emerging markets, Brazil, Nigeria, but also looking at some of those fulcrum places politically and socially, looking at Tunisia, looking at Israel. And you learn very early on that when you're in the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, the game is very different than that of Harlem and Brooklyn. And so what began as a simple play of places and ideas began this insane project that comprises the entire history of art. But it's also the relationship between the individual and the nation. It's the relationship between contemporary and historical cultures. And it's also a very personal and poetic journey of what it feels like to be a young Black man navigating the world in all of these